You're tuned into the Visibility Strategy live stream with Amy Nubson and Christina Vidovich, where strategy meets storytelling and confidence takes the spotlight. Join us every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern as we help you set sail on your visibility journey. Well, good day, everyone. Welcome to this session of Visibility Strategy, this episode of Women Getting Visible podcast. Today, we are speaking about the wins in public speaking and how in-person increases your visibility. I'm Christina, visibility strategist.
And I'm Amy Nubson. I'm the growth strategist. And it is so important to be in the room because, 20 years of being in marketing, they always discredit it, but I think it's because you can't monetize it, is networking. Being in the room, getting in there. How I built my company 25 years ago was literally being in the room, talking to people, engaging with people, being on boards or being active in different organizations. Getting seen is how I built that business, and quickly. I mean, it's a little different today because there's a lot more options, there's a lot more competition, but it's still essential. So how important is it to you, Christina, to be in the room? What has it done for you?
Oh, it's amazing. And as I just gave the secret away, you might hear the birds in the background. And with my virtual background, I am sitting in the car on my way to an event to do some more networking, a room full of women who are ready to connect. And, it is so true. It's like, it's great to be on Zoom and meet people, but there's nothing quite like actually shaking hands and having a conversation because it feels so much more real when you're in the room. Yeah, it's not that they're not real on Zoom, but you're looking at the clock, you're worried about, oh my gosh, I only have so much time. But when you're in-person networking, how many times have we straggled after the event is over to continue those conversations going, oh my gosh, let's set up our coffee date now. There's somebody I want you to meet. I'm going to connect you to them. The opportunities are so much different when we're face to face.
Yeah, and I think there's a natural progression of follow through. When you're in person, you're like, ooh, we got to continue this more. So you make plans right there and then, where a lot of times when I'm on Zoom, I'm like, yeah, we should totally do this again. And then I completely forgot because I move on to the next call. Or you're like, I had the greatest intention, but 10 things came at me that day and I got kind of pushed out of my mind, right? But when you're in person, you actually tend to do it in the moment.
Yeah.
Right there. Because you're like, ooh, what's your schedule? What's your schedule? I kind of miss that conversation. Like, ooh, okay. Versus here's my link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that because to that point, it's not just, oh, here's the link. It's really that let's make time in the calendar. Let's plan this, because, oh my goodness, in just this month alone, I can't even tell you how many networking events I've been to because, it's the beginning of conference season. So it's just, I was at, local county networking group for women. I was in London for the podcast show. I'm sorry, there's so many in my head that are running through right now. Then as well as my local networking groups like NABO and another women's business owners group that I was at, and heading to another one today that is on a national level. So it is so different of going, okay, we don't necessarily live right next to each other, but let's make sure, like you said, it's like, here's the conversation. I want to keep this going. So now we have 2 touch points. And then we stay top of mind, back to the visibility, staying top of mind by being in the room going, oh my gosh, yes, I had this wonderful conversation. And what do? You think about all the people that I need them to meet this person. I need them and I want to connect them. And man, those are some definite wins when you're like, okay, I need you to connect. And they're telling you people that you need to meet as well.
Yeah, that's usually what we're really good at. It. The people that love networking love to introduce you to the next person. I was just on a call and the woman's like, do you know what I do? And I'm like, no, Christina introduced us and I just trust her. Right. So I got on the call, so there's those moments where you have that complete trust with the person I referred you to. So you just go with it. Then there versus a cold lead or somebody just dropped on your calendar. You're like, okay, what are we talking about? And how do I prep myself for this? it's a little different. The small talk is different in person versus in online, right?
Yeah.
I find it much easier to be like dynamic and creative with my words when I'm in person, moving, standing, being able to move my hands freely versus being kind of trapped at my desk here. So there's some points that yes, it's easier in person.
Yeah, and I think about one of the things is you might be talking to one person, but then along comes in somebody else, and you open up your shoulder and step back, let that next person in, and suddenly new questions start to happen. So new dynamics start to happen as well. So you're learning even more about that person by that small talk. Because look, you and I both know, Amy, it's not, we don't do business like men do. It's not the cut and dry black and white. It is about the know, like, trust, and getting to know those little things about that person. And suddenly somebody just rings the bell, and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I love doing that too. And there goes the conversation. What are you doing? You're building that trust right there in the room.
Yes. It's so true because you already know you have proximity, right? You're all from that area. So you have something already in common, which is very nice versus somewhere else or online. You're like, okay, where do we have that common ground? Which I love that you brought up, Christina, is we like to connect based on what our likes and like what we enjoy, our interests. So you have to kind of find that thing that isn't always business, but that connects us as people. It's a
Yeah.
little harder online than it is, but you can totally do it. I do it well because I've done this for so many years. But sometimes you're like, oh, we missed the mark and I didn't find that thing that kind
Yeah.
of connected us. And that's
Yeah.
okay.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing I love about like the mini masterminds that happen in the room. Again, one thing online, because whoop, you're going to your breakout room now, and you have again that timed 5 minutes. Well, again, that timed 5 minutes sitting at a table with others, sometimes you get off topic and you have some really interesting conversations that go into that depth. And when again, it's that personalization, that laughter that you can have together, and just really like, oh wow, think about how many times you get sparked by somebody in the room. When you're on that Zoom, you have to pop back in the room. But when you're together, hey, you said something really interesting. You have more time to ask the questions and go deeper.
Well, and I love this too, because Christina and I have been talking about what is the future of networking? What do we want to create with our business? And it always comes back to in-person events,
Yes.
specializing it, making these very like formal, but also really open for dialogue, communication, networking. So everything we're building has that in-person feel. Of course, we're going to have our community. We're also building an online community because we know there needs to be those touch points in between.
Yes.
But it's not only online. That's
Yes.
the difference.
Yes. Yes. And it's so amazing, Amy, and I'm so thrilled about the women that come into our rooms. For example, Minneapolis coming up. We have women flying in from across the country to come and be in that room. That is how valuable being in the room is. I mean, come on. I mean, is there more proof in the pudding, so to speak?
Exactly. And how else are you going to be able to meet them in person unless you show up?
Yeah.
Right. And there are so many amazing things and different ways you can show up to, we're creating a lot of different types of in-person events too, not just big conferences. There's little tiny things you can do as well that we're putting together and creating, and we're going to so excited to share with you in the future. But the other thing that we love, and we're going to talk about a little bit more after break, but is when you are speaking on stage, you have a captivated audience who also can interact with you after. And people are like, does it really get you work? Does it really get you noticed? And I guarantee you, yes, it does. Because it's happened to both Christina and I. And we'd love to share with you those stories after the break.
Fantastic. And this break is our dance break to talk about our visibility accountability every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Check out the website, womengettingvisible.com/accountability, and you can sign up to join us every
Share your story.
Jam it out.
Yes, it is. Well, that's what one of the things, the reasons why we created our conference is to give women opportunities to get on stage that may or may not be able to do that prior to. Because
Yes.
there's so many opportunities that we don't get chosen because we don't have a reel, or we don't have this, or we don't have the right connections, right? It's why we created Women Getting Visible conferences, to give a variety of women opportunities that, maybe didn't exist before. But there are so many speaking opportunities out there, Christina. What are some of the examples and the wins that you've gotten after speaking at these conferences?
Absolutely. Just 2 weeks ago when I spoke to a women's group, I gave them the story that they're going to hear in Minneapolis, but I also let them know, hey, some of the other things that Amy and I are working on is getting you in the room, the smaller touch events. So being able to do a happy hour to help you go, okay, I know a lot of women who, are trying to switch out of corporate, or they're busy all day, but we can meet for a happy hour. These are things that we do. We bring our group, we bring your group. And when I did one recently, one of the women who we sat around and talked and like, okay, you're going to speak at this event. She got another speaking opportunity from one of the women that I brought in the room. And then at this other event, she happened to be as well and let everybody know. So out of that, I had 2 more opportunities of going, oh my gosh, you do lunches and happy hours? Can I look at a calendar with you and set one up? Yes. And it's amazing because, again, it's giving the women opportunity to speak because, look, it's a lot of work and we know it to put on any kind of event, small or large, but we're here to support you with our network, bringing your networks and ours together to start showing up in the room. So yeah, there's, wins right there for, hey, you want to get visible? Come on in.
Exactly. So it's all about a collaboration effort as well. So we're working together with you to create those opportunities for you to shine and you to create a new network or connection, or maybe get hired for another speaking event. Because that's how I started my speaking event. Christina put me on stage and I was like, this is awesome. I loved it. And I got hired for a future event that we did in Santa Fe. And it wasn't just a small hire. I got hired to coach 11 women.
Yeah.
So it was an amazing experience. And those 11 women see me, and there was 50, 60, 70 people in the room. I'm not sure. I didn't count. And they were all in awe. And they're like, I need to know who you are.
Yeah.
So I've had many follow-up conversations with a lot of them. They're like, I'm not ready yet. Or I did get rehired from one of the 11 participants in the room that wanted to build a new story. So
Yeah.
there are opportunities everywhere, but you gotta show up for yourself.
Exactly. And we'll get into this not today, but this will be more episodes, but all of the things that it takes to put yourself out there for speaking. Just like Amy mentioned, we're offering that space in our conferences where you can step up with the open mic, the story sparks for storytelling. So it's an opportunity. If you've never spoken before, how do I do this? And hey, maybe it's just a basic your little camera showing up and getting you on stage, but those are some of the little things that we can help make happen for you to help you in your speaking engagements for your future. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the whole thing, is you gotta try.
Mhm.
You have to try. And I still remember the first video where I try to, show up who I am without trying to be behind the scenes of like promoting somebody else. That video has never seen the light of day, right? Like it just sat on my phone. It's still there. I think I showed my coach at the time and I was like, yeah. And he's like, no, it's good. You did it. Like that's all it took, is one time and then doing the next one. Same thing with in-person events. I got really comfortable being online because I moved right at the beginning of the shutdown. So I got so comfortable doing that I actually had to remind myself how amazing it is to go back in person and take those little tiny steps again to go out there and go, I can do this. It's worth my time
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah, and it's so fun because I have been able to get to witness you, Amy, on that stage that first time last October, Women Getting Visible, and then on the stage again this April and listening to the coaching. I've watched Amy in the Zoom and in the room coach women, and it's like, bam, the light bulbs go on. And it's just incredible to already take the genius that you have, but sharpen it up to get stories. And then, just like she said, it's getting the clients. And it's not the fact that you're necessarily pitching them at all, they're just seeing what it is that you already do. And that's the beauty of what we can help you do as well. How do
Mm.
you tell those stories? But you've got to show up.
Yes, you do. And, the thing is, why not learn how to do storytelling? The story sparks are there. We're gonna give it a whole life of its own eventually, but right now we're premiering it. Me and Christina are gonna teach this together. We're putting both our brilliance of mine, like, helping them start to see and get that clarity, but Christina and how to polish it, make it better, and how to be on stage and that persona of who you wanna be, right? We're supporting you in all of those different areas on being on the stage and putting it all together for Story Sparks. And we're premiering that in Minneapolis, and we'd love to have you come and join us for those Story Sparks because they'll make you laugh, they'll make you cry, they'll make you cheer. That's what's the fun thing, you never know because it's the audience that gets to participate with that.
Yeah, and it's so funny too because I think about somebody sitting there going, "Well, what kind of story am I gonna tell?" Do I talk about my business? Do I talk about my personal life? Do I talk about something I haven't talked about before? I've never done this before. So, I'm gonna throw that back to you, Amy. If somebody's coming to us and going, "Oh my gosh, who am I to be on that stage?" What would you want them to know?
Yeah, so the idea is, what are you comfortable telling? Because the first story you create, you should be comfortable with it. Or it should be a driving need, like, I really wanna create something around this idea. And maybe it's for me, I love collaboration. I love it so much, so maybe I create a story around collaboration. It's an idea, and then you find the stories that kinda support that idea. So it's not like you have to go, "I had this traumatic event, how do I figure all that out and unpack it?" No, it's the idea of, like, creating a word, an idea, a concept, and building around that. What supports that idea? So it's a really simple but yet effective way to create a story that doesn't have to be traumatic in building it. It can be fun. And I've had people ask me, one lady goes, "Oh my God, can you make a story out of anything?" I'm like, if it's got a point, yeah. Why not?
Yes.
And so can you. That's the beauty. We all can.
Yes, we all have stories to tell, and that is so important. But we don't want to give any more away because we want you in the room. Check your calendars. Join us June 2nd through 4th. And if you can only do one of the days, just join us one of the days for these moments. And as Amy said, this is the premiere of Story Sparks. And then it's coming to a city near you
In the
shortly.
near future.
That's right. We're so excited to be offering that as another thing for your visibility journey. Well, Amy, it's that time again. So we're going to have to say toodaloo for now and join us in Minneapolis. Guess what? That's where we're going to be side by side next week in the room. We will have our visibility strategy together in Minneapolis the morning that the conference starts. So we'll see you then. I'm Christina.
And I'm Amy.
Until next time.
Share your story, own your name. Step in the light, ignite your flame. Show up, shine out, it's time to be heard. Flip fear into power with every word. Visibility.